Hey, welcome to X31 Topic 3, Whole Pundits. I'm your host, John C. Dvorak. I'm pundit number 1. We have Andrew Eisner and Joe Engo as 2 and 3, and we're going to discuss the latest, well, there's a bunch of news coming out. Tablets, of course, are in the news on a day-to-day basis, and the story that got our attention was Amazon apparently is going to release an Android tablet, or so the rumor mill says. You've been following it.
Yeah, this is very likely. I mean, and at Retrievo, we've been following, we've been doing various studies, and every time we do ask people what's important in a tablet, they always say a low price. And so what's been happening is that everybody keeps bringing out a tablet, like, Toshiba just undercut the iPad by, what, $50, but everybody keeps bringing out these $499 tablets that are, look the same as an iPad. And so what we're getting back from the survey is that everybody wants a lower price. And what we found too is that when we asked people who they would buy a tablet from, which manufacturer, they actually put Amazon on the top of the list. So that led us to the idea that Amazon may have the best chance of actually, competing with the iPad.
Amazon, as long as they compete on price, though. If they can't, beat the price, $50 is not enough.
No,
it's got to be able to drop by $200.
It's got to be at $199.
Well,
Amazon bring out a $199.
As long as it's not netbook quality, though, because at $199 you're going to get netbook quality. You're going to get maybe 2 hours of battery out of it. It's going to be a crappy screen. It's going to be one of those, the capacitive screens. Not the resistive screens, which are kind of terrible on tablets, but.
I think they might be able to do it for a $350. I know.
I like the $199 price point. Yeah. That'll do the trick.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of Sony's been in the news. They apparently released some sort of tablet that they showed to see. They don't show it to the technical press.
I haven't seen that one, but
you never will, because Sony doesn't believe that there's a technical press that should be looking at any of this stuff. So this
is why Sony's not doing so good these days.
They don't seem to understand that simple mechanism.
There's a lot of things they don't seem to understand these days.
Well, that's one of them. But anyway, they showed it off on, or somebody showed it off on CNBC, which because everybody I can assure you that the audience, which is very small for CNBC, but well-heeled, they're already up to they're here with iPads. Yeah. They're in.
Oh yeah.
Everybody I know that's a stock market guy who's a professional, they bought an iPad within the and they probably have 2.
That's right.
So Sony's not going to sell anything to these people. Yeah. But I think Amazon could. Amazon, what I wanted to say when you were talking about Amazon, I think Amazon's an amazing company.
Yeah, I do too. Yeah. And coincidentally too, they just lost a battle in court. Apple just lost the battle to stop Amazon from using the App Store name. So now Amazon can use the App Store. In fact, Amazon's taking on the whole state of California. I mean,
and
they're
the whole
putting
taxes,
the whole taxing on the ballot. But Apple's not going to stand still. So the latest rumor is that maybe this fall, Apple's going to bring out what they call the iPad HD. It's not going to be the iPad 3.
Well, there's an interesting part to that the rumor is that they're going to be coming out with 2 models. They're going to have the normal iPad, like iPad 2, and then they're going to have iPad 2 HD, which is going to have the Retina display.
Won't that be amazing?
And it's going to be a couple $100 more. But this is why I think that they're doing it, is because they can't get enough Retina displays in that large size.
So they want
to, prevent people from actually buying them, because the market is going to be so big.
I think that also, I don't see how Apple, I can, but if it was me, I don't see how you could pass up the chance when you get to the iPad 3 to call it the iPad 3D.
Ooh.
Well, unless it's 3D,
here you go. Here's an opportunity knocking.
Yeah, but if it's not actually 3D.
No, it would have to be 3D. So that would actually, your thesis about it's going to be the 2 HD and all the rest of it, which is putting off the release of the iPad 3. I know. May be leading me to believe.
If they did release a 3D tablet, it would push every manufacturer back by quite a few years. I mean, they would be in some serious trouble.
They do have to be careful about what they call things. I mean, I mentioned this on a previous segment here, but we just also did Retrievo just also did another study on 4G, and found that a third of the iPhone owners think they already have a 4G phone.
Right, right.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's
people
because they
don't,
called
yeah.
it, there was a 3G phone, and then the iPhone 4. I mean, geez, so who would think that
Right.
it doesn't have 4G? But an HD, an iPad with a Retina display. So this will just like sort of leapfrog everybody again. I mean, just as everybody gets caught up and maybe Amazon says, "Oh, I've got a tablet for $350," Apple's going to come out with something that is going to be, knock everybody's socks off.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, they took the. I mean, they were ahead from the get-go, and they haven't shown any signs of letting up. At some point, and they're not like Microsoft so much. Microsoft like gets a lead, and then they look around. They're like the rabbit in the hare, or the hare in the tortoise, and they're like the rabbit, and they run and run, and then they stop and take a break, and then they say or stop altogether, and they lose coders, and then everybody catches up or passes them even. But Apple, Adobe's the same way. Adobe never stops running. I mean, if you look at Photoshop over the years, I mean, why do it's like they just keep coming out with new ones. So who's competing with them? Nobody.
Yeah.
And I think Apple's kind of the same way with this iPad. They're in front, and I think they're going to stay there for a while.
Yeah, and the rumors are starting to surface again about an Apple TV. We've talked about this before, but...
Well, actually, there was another interesting rumor about iOS 5 apparently is going to unlock the Bluetooth capability of the newest Apple TV. The Apple TV, the newest one that came out, the really small one, which I can't believe how small it is. I actually have one at home. It actually has a Bluetooth chip in it, but it's not active right now. So the rumor is that with iOS 5, you'll be able to actually install directly on the Apple TV, and then you can activate the Bluetooth so you can have a keyboard.
That sounds cool. But I was actually talking about a real...
The television set was
I honestly, I don't think Apple's ever going to do that.
I'm
really
with
don't
you.
believe it.
I mean, I'm not with you. I'm with
Because the analysts now are saying...
I've always said that Apple, they can put their name on anything and add some margin points to it and just kill everything.
Sure, but Apple's only going to get into a market if they think they can do something new and interesting. The TV market is pretty boring.
They'll have
There's really not much more.
interface. They'll have,
But why? But they can do all that with an Apple TV. They don't have to sell the whole display.
Well, maybe. I still believe that.
I still very firmly believe they will never release one. But we'll see.
They got all. And here's the other thing: they have this infrastructure of stores. They could take those sets, these big TV sets.
Exactly.
Let's say, what do you think? I would start with the 50-inch.
Yeah, that's right.
So a big 50-inch screen with a really high-res, beautiful.
That's right.
There's really high-quality stuff.
Yeah, put
expensive.
some quantum dots
and they
in
could
it.
throw them into these stores and just move them out like crazy.
Unbelievable, yeah.
Vacuum
Maybe
cleaners
if it was
next.
2K,
Vacuum
4K.
cleaner, an Apple vacuum cleaner at those stores, kill.
They would clean up.
They would clean up.
Are we going to go out on that one?
Yeah, we're done. You've been watching it.